Divine.
Unlimited power. We've probably all dreamt about it. Some of us might even have it, although maybe that's doubtful. But anyway, I'm going to show you a way we can get it, or a pixelated version of it, in Path of Exile 2. This build is really budget friendly. There's one stretch unique in there. We'll talk about how you don't need to take that. We're going to do this a little differently. There's going to be a showcase of this in a tier 15 map with an abyss, just blasting through it. We're going to talk about the tech that's used in some sections, and the mobilitics guide, which is on screen at the moment, is linked in the build description. So if you want to go through the passive tree in detail, check out the skill gem allocations in detail. All of that is written up there. Figured it's just easy enough to consume in written format. And instead, what we'll do is talk about some of the tech that's being used to actually bring this together to feel like a satisfying build at endgame. And on that, let's jump in and start off talking about the best bit. So the movement tech then. Here we are zooming around our hideout. This is all done with the skill Tempest Flurry. Now, it's rather thirsty, but we'll talk about how we handle that in maps soon. The star of the show here being attack speed. That's what we're stacking up. And we're looking at getting 12.5 attacks per second, which will get us moving as fast as you saw just there. Definitely very nice. Looking at the boots, what does this allow for us? This means that we don't need to take any movement speed on the boots. We can pile in lots more energy shield and really go for that crit. So looking at the mana sustain then, one of the most important things to grab is physical attack damage as mana. You need to get this on a ring, of course. We don't have a weapon, so grab it there. This goes with Walker of the Wilds, which converts elemental damage type to do, instead of fizz damage, to our mana regen. Couple this up with Siphon and the Node 2 Siphon for an extra 40% mana leech and 2% mana on kill. You could get that 2% mana on kill on a duel as well, and then you could get the points back from Siphon. So, taking a look at the defensive layering on our tree, we've got 12,000 evasion, that gives us 55%, looking at about 3,300 overall HP between life and energy shield. Capped at all res, Chaos is still missing, hoping to sort that out with sockets a bit later. At the moment, Chaos is a bit rough. We won't be taking this CI, not on this version anyway. Crackling Palms, another good defensive layer. This is the skill that comes in from Thunderfists. These are a stretch unique. They're about 7 divines at time of writing. You can replace these with good gloves, but it will mean some changes to the skills. Other than that, just high ES, high UV, armor, and boots. Then, looking at what Crackling Palm actually does for us, it gives us Blind, which is a nice defense. Culling Strike kills them faster. Maim, it basically runs as a bit of a support. The Electrocute won't actually go off on enemies. It will only ever hit the bell, so it really is just providing that blind support, but it does it quite well. Looking at the rest of the skill gems, we've got Blasphemy support. This slows the enemies by an awful lot now. It got a massive boost in 0.3 with Heightened Curse. I think it's slowing at 44%? Yeah, slowing up to 44% already, so that's pretty massive. Ghost Dance, when we do get hit, recovers a massive amount of our shield. I think it's somewhere in the region of about 600, so that pretty much is half our shield. Blasphemy really is the star of the show with that 44% slow. That really does work well. So next off, let's look at the charges. This was a bit of an annoying one to solve. I landed on Reaper's Invocation in the end, so this gains energy when you kill an enemy with a melee hit. We're always doing melee hits. We're using that along with the new notable Ritual Cadence, which ensures that anything that's socked in there triggers once every 2 seconds rather than triggering everything at the same time. It also has some other bonuses, like they cost less energy. So we've got Profane Ritual in there, costing 50 energy, with Energy Capacitor and Boundless Energy, meaning that we can stockpile 18 Profane Rituals at once, which gives us 36 seconds of generating power charges. You can, for single target, although I don't think it's worth it, run Aelith's Chimes in Tempest Bell. I just forgo the power charges on single target, but you could swap that in for one of the fizz gems. Alright, so let's talk a bit about Tempest Bell. This has been changed in 0.3. It no longer has the global cooldown. It actually gets more physical damage. The tooltip here is wrong based on the different ailment effects, so you want to be trying to cause all 5, but how exactly are we going to do that? Well, rings are a great source, and in fact our only. We can get cold damage here, which covers off cold and freeze. Lightning comes from all of our attacks already. We should have flat fire as well. At the moment that's missing, so I'm not actually getting ignite on them. This is where Crackling Palm comes in really well. So Crackling Palm can apply Electrocute very, very easily, especially in single target, which is much harder to do with Charged Staff. So instead we've landed on Crackling Palm doing it. That works quite well. Typically, you would put that in Charged Staff, but then you need that way to generate that power charge. Reaper's Invocation doesn't work in single target. Crackling Palm just answers that, getting us very easily that damage. If we can get the flat fire as well, we'll be sorted. Alright, so there's one skill we haven't talked about, and that is Storm Wave. This really does serve a bit of a niche purpose in the build at this point, and that is to kill things at ranged when there's too many degens on the floor or when your life is down. We put leech in it so that it can leech life back easier. I only really use it if I'm running away or if something's got a bunch of degens. Otherwise, I'm just Tempest flurrying around these days. Might even get swapped out in a later iteration of the build. Alright, so let's get a map done then. We're on to tier 15s, so we're going to do a 6 mod. As you can see, no revives available. Bunch of nasty modifiers because that's how maps come now, but we should be fine with this. We're going to find somewhere in the map device that has a little bit of spice on it. We're not really at the point of super juicing yet. It's right at the start of the campaign, but we'll go find something that's got, I don't know, like Delirium on it. Delirium is always a good showcase because it makes the maps quite a bit harder. And if we can find Breach or something like that. Deserters is a nice tool. Here, look, no hands. But we'll go to Oasis. Oasis is a good one. Nice open map. Breach, Delirium. See if I can remember what happens for the next 8 minutes. Alright, so this is where we're going to showcase the movement tech, right? So we run really slow without our boots. That's clear. That is, in fact, a given. But as soon as we get Tempest flurrying, we are off. You can see those Reaper's invocations building up really fast. I've just pressed the button. That's why they're grayed out. They're now starting to generate power charges. We can see those in the top left. They go up. I remember to press the button eventually. Oh my god, analysing my own gameplay is awful. Oh no, when am I going to press the button? Come on, Farum, press the button. Thank you for pressing the button. Alright, so you see we're now bouncing around, lasers coming out of our fists. It looks really awesome. We look amazing. There's an Exalted Orb. Probably going to actually abandon that on the floor because I'm concentrating so much on trying to capture the good footage. But here we go. Do you know what we're not going to abandon? That's right, Divine. First Divine drop of the league, guys. Let's go. We're now into the Abyss, though. So you can see it's just melting through the Abyss. Herald of Ash just blowing everything up. Lightning crashing down everywhere. Tempest Bells go out as everything comes out of the hole. Tempest Bells make short work of the really strong elites. They're no danger if they're dead. Nice little laser beam effect going on there. So another hole, you can get stuck on the holes. That does make this fisting a little bit rough if you do get stuck on the holes. So you do want to watch that if you can. Life taking a bit of a tumble there for the first time, but you know, it comes back up quick enough. Dealing with the second hole, fisting through that too. Coming up to the top, probably going to deal with these guys. Yep, no problem. Get stuck on some tents. That is the movement is chaotic, right? There's no other way to describe it. The movement's absolutely chaotic. We're clearing out this last set of Abyss monsters. And then running around being like, where is the last Abyss monster? Do a bit of slow looting. Unfortunately, the mana cost is too much to just keep using it. As you just saw, when there's nothing to kill, it will drain you really fast. You can drink your mana potion and offset it for the duration that you've got a mana potion, about 30 seconds, but you do need stuff to kill. It's not great for backtracking. Which is kind of annoying, but maybe we could use some sort of weapon switch with leap slam or something instead of the oh shit button to get rid of that. But there we go, last abyss hole dealt with, and yeah, we get an abyssal depths. So these have typically been quite difficult for the build. The bosses at the end have been really rough, but we're going to see just how fast we can run this. We're not going to do a full explore. We're just going to try and beeline to the end and get as many of these abyssal crates as we can. That's the idea. We're going to get stuck on some walls because the pilot is bad. That's a skill issue. Definitely a skill issue. Didn't play enough Gemling Stacker in 0.1, so probably lacking a bit because of that. But we keep pushing up. Just everything continues to blow up. Hit another wall and another pack. And you can see Herald of Ash just causing quite nice, satisfying explosions. Lightning constantly being called down from 3 different sources, which is just gravy. I think we just ignore the chest. This is where things can get a bit dicey when you get stuck in tiny gaps like that. If you put the bell down at the wrong time, you can't actually walk through the bell. Also, you will target back to the bell and keep dragging yourself back into degens, which is why degens are terrible for this build. Once it's got some chaos resistance, things like that might be a bit better, but at the moment, still a bit scary. But we're pushing through, looking for that end. You can see mana is just about staying stable as we chuff that potion. And here's the boss, and luckily just one, but it's down, and that's the Abyss done. Pretty fast at getting through them. Making use of that skill for movement really does make a difference to your movement speed, as well as definitely opening up those slots, which is just nice. So a few more rares to kill, and one off in a really annoying place where the boss would spawn, just making the maps long. I don't know why that change has come in. There seems to consistently be a rare spawned in where the boss would be. And you just always have to run to the end of the map. There's crappy Aracalia's Lust. I think it's damage per poison on the enemy up to 30%. Which, if you're a poison build, it's probably not crappy. It's probably really good, but we're not a poison build. So you can see that mana going down as we failed to blow things up there. But as soon as we get back into destroying the enemies, everything becomes mulch. Using bells for rares is a good idea. It can't get much area on them, unfortunately, but we do quite a lot of extra added damage. And then what actually happens here? Because Chaos Flowers. So we get hit by 2 Chaos Flowers and almost die. I thought it was Chaos Flowers. I thought that was going to be the end of the showcase for a minute there, but no, we're fine. Rogue Exile decides to show up, blow them up. Problem, just dodge everything. Fine. Everything is slowed, blinded. You can see how slow the enemies are running towards us. That was a pretty good showcase with those Faradin Spearmen just going down to a complete halt. We're moving so fast and everything is moving so slow that we just don't get hit. That's really how the defenses work. If you stop and walk for a while, though, especially at the wrong moment, like if you do the charge staff while you're actually in combat, that half a second can be quite frightening. I just did it just there. But you can see where that last rare spawned compared to the rest. But I'll show how it deals with breaches. So I haven't got breaches juiced up yet. I've only done the breach boss once. So I've only got 2. In fact, and I did the breach boss at Milk's hideout with Milk's key, so I didn't get the book, which is weird. And now the person at the hideout won't give me the book. But anyway, I'll grumble about that later. It's 0.3, not 1.0. Bugs everywhere. So there goes the delirium effect. That's just finished. We got up to 6 rewards. That's not bad at this stage. 6 rewards used to be what I used to get on the Deadeye last league. So 6 is pretty much capped out. It's quite hard to get more than that without super juice, I think. You might be able to get more than that on some of the new Abyss maps. Maybe, actually, some of the Abyss corrupted maps, just because of the sheer number of monsters that spawn. There's thousands. Yep, just keep clearing on. Just finish off the breach. AoE's reasonably good. I've once again forgotten to use charge staff. Just sitting there with 18 stacks of Reaver's Invocation. But I just go to show you don't really need charge staff. It's optional. Stuck on a small corner there. Then ran out of mana. But it matters not, because you just drink the mana potion and then move on. This is where the Storm Wave comes in. So that's a bit of an oh shit moment. You probably don't want to stand in there. That's where you can use Storm Wave just to finish things at range a bit faster. And that's really it. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed that overview and that showcase. This build looks really good. It's definitely going to be able to make your currency just blasting through tier 15 maps, right? And then you can just do what you want. You can go and follow any big currency, high expenditure build. You can throw a load of divines at this and turn it into a crypt build. You know, the world really, truly is your oyster. If you have enjoyed this video, guys, and you haven't done already, please don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps. Maybe even leave a comment or subscribe. That would be amazing. And check out the Mobalytics guide as well. I'll be keeping that updated. If I had a crit variant, maybe do a Flicker Strike version, I'll be posting all of that on Mobalytics, so it'd be great to get the support there. And thank you very much for sticking it through to the end, and I'll catch you in the next video.